before we get started, I do want to thank our friends at Town Meeting TV for having covered our three public meetings. So thank you very much to Town Meeting TV. I also want to thank one of the folks that's in the room here with us, Thomas. Thomas is a member of our Ridership Experience and Accessibility Council, the REAC. And so, Thomas, thank you for volunteering for that and for being here to listen. And so I think that I'm going to go ahead and get started, and knowing that people can arrive late and participate and ask questions if they show up after we get going. And so we are here to talk about three potential changes to our routes. Two of the changes are minor in nature. They have to deal with the scheduling of the 86, which is the Montpelier link between Montpelier and Burlington. One of the things that will be changing this summer is that GMT will be transferring its Berlin, Vermont service to Tri-Valley Transit. This means that GMT will be operating the Montpelier link entirely out of the Burlington headquarters, which is different in the past. In the past, we would operate the service out of both Berlin and Burlington. And so as we seek to establish a new schedule for that service, we are getting public input to make sure that we meet as many people's needs as possible. The next item that we're taking feedback on has to deal with the number 5 in Burlington. The number 5 travels down Pine Street before getting to Home Ave, taking a right onto Home Ave, and then it takes another right onto the Champlain Parkway. And we are looking to extend the number 5's time on the Champlain Parkway. Right now, it currently travels back to Pine on Flint Ave, and we would have it stay on the Champlain Parkway to Lakeside Ave. One of the reasons for this is that there have been some new offices for the Social Security Administration and the Agency of Human Services that is going to be better served. Most travels to Lakeside. And then the last change that we're talking about, which is the most consequential, is the potential elimination of the number 4, which is the Essex Circulator. The circulator, as the name implies, is a circular route that travels between the town of Essex and Essex Junction, and it connects 5 harbors to. Oh, we have some new arrivals. Welcome.
Oh, no.
Okay. We have so it connects 5 corners to Essex Experience. And then it goes through the Sam Hill area and down to River Road and then back to 5 corners. And so this is a route that has not been financially efficient for the last 10 years and has been highlighted by VTrans and the legislature as being concerning because of its costs. And so we're considering whether to eliminate that route entirely, and it could be eliminated as soon as the August 2026 bid. So those are the 3 changes that are being considered. And now I'm going to turn it over to you all. And with Thomas, our only person that is here in the room.
I would suggest that people on Zoom go first.
Excellent. So
because before I speak, I want to give everybody else a chance. Especially because some of you this is your only meet. Yeah, I haven't seen you in any of these meetings. So I want to kind of hear what you want to say.
Excellent. And so I think that makes sense to me. And so what I would like people to do is, if you would like to make a comment, please raise your hand, either with the raise your hand button or just physically so that we can see. And we will go in order of who raises their hand to get their input. And so Annie Crawford, I see that you are the first with your hand up, and thank you for joining us today. And what would you like us to keep in mind regarding these 3 potential service changes?
Hello, thank you for letting me speak and thank you for taking the time to listen to public input. We really appreciate that. I work for National Life and some staff members were here last week. I did complete the survey, but I wanted to show up and advocate for the Williston Park and Ride pickup on the 86. I commute 3 days a week on the bus, could commute up to 4 days a week, some weeks. Um, as a resident of Williston, I don't have great options in that park and ride for the time to come to work and then to leave National Life. When I leave National Life, the drop at the Williston Park and Ride is only by request. One time the bus driver did start to drive by, so it's always, you got to remember to pull that cord, and it's not always the same driver. So it would be very nice if there were more options for both pickup and drop off in the Williston Park and Ride. And I know ridership in Williston is low right now, but my theory is that it's low because there's only that very early morning time slot for coming in and the one by request only drop off at the end of the day. I think a lot of people are going to the Richmond Park and Ride instead to get that flexibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so it sounds like the Williston Park and Ride is critical for your day, and that adding stops there would be cool for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting us know. And so we have some new arrivals, and so hi, I'm Clay. I also realized I didn't introduce myself. I'm so sorry. I'm Clayton Clark, the general manager for Green Mountain Transit. And so what we're doing right now is we're just taking input from people about 3 service changes. And so if you have comments, you could do so now. And do you know which service changes we are talking about?
Yeah, well, my name's Elizabeth. I was concerned and wanted to show up because I take the 86 because I live in Duxbury. And I work at UVM Medical Center.
Okay.
And so I first started taking the bus to the 86 bus to work when I first started working, but I eventually had to stop because it never got to work in time because my shift started at 6:45 in the morning. Okay. So I had to stop taking the bus. But now I have a new job where I'm excited because I can take the bus again because my job starts at a later time again. So when I heard that there were more service changes happening, I was worried that there was going to be changes schedule again. I just feel like this is like, we are such outliers. Like, there's no other, like, Williston versus Richmond is a 10-15 minute difference. Like, we have no other options. Like, we are the only lifeline out there with that bus.
Yep.
So the schedule still is kind of unfortunate. Like, I get out of work at 5:15 and the next bus isn't until 5:45 at UVM Medical Center. So despite me getting out of work at 5:15, I get home at like 6:30 because the bus schedules don't align with the work schedules. So I didn't know what changes were being considered, but I was just wondering if you guys like ever looked into when our usual shifts beginning and ending at the medical center. And because I'm sure, like, especially the bus that I take on the way home, it's practically full and people want to take these buses to and from the medical center. So that was my concern because there's already limited options for me living all the way in Duxbury.
And what was your name again?
Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And so Elizabeth, when you had mentioned that that you had a start time at 6:45 and you couldn't use the bus, that was because the schedule didn't work, not that the bus was late.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the schedule didn't work.
Okay.
Yeah. But now that I have a job where I don't have to be there till like 7.
Yep.
But so it works now, but the schedule still is kind of not conducive to people because I get out of work. Most people get out of work at like 5:30 maybe, but then bus is at like 4:52. It gets at the medical center, which doesn't make sense for people that are working till 5. And then even if you're work till 5:30, 5:30, and the next bus 5:48 would be okay. But so it just doesn't seem like it's conducive to hospital schedules a lot of the time.
Okay. Elizabeth, thank you so much. And so, going back online, if there's anyone that has any comment that they would like to make, if you could just, either raise your hand with the, hand raising button or raise your hand so that we can see you and we'll have you go next. Kim?
Yes, I wish GMT would bring the bus stop back down there by Red Rocks. That's a long haul walk from Champlain Parkway all the way down to Queen City to go to the beach and the trails. Especially when you're carrying a beach chair and beach towels and stuff.
Okay. So access to Red Rocks Park is, something that you would like us to improve?
Add on, because they keep changing. They take the stop down, they put it back on, put it back off. And the closest stop for people to get off, go to Lakeside Avenue for welfare office, security office is right there at the gas station on Pine Street. It's only like a 2-minute walk.
Okay, so in regards to the change at the number 5, does that mean that you feel that the change is not necessary or?
No, it's not necessary to change any more stops on Pine Street. You guys took enough away.
Okay.
I just want GMT to stop making all these changes. It's getting annoying.
And so the frequent changes is interfering with your ability to use the service?
Like going to Red Rocks is a long walk.
Okay.
Kimberly, I want to just a reminder, the reason why that happens is that GMT could no longer go around Queen City Park Road is because the Pine Street, the extension of Interstate 189 was, I had to cut off that, made Pine Street a dead end road, so it's no longer possible for a bus to actually turn onto Queen City Park or Queen City Parkway because it's now all blocked off. Unlike bicycles, there's a path there. Just saying, so that was something that unfortunately but I just don't know how a bus would turn around from Red Rocks Park.
Oh, the interstate, I guess.
Yeah.
Isn't there an interstate down that way? Or a highway?
So yes, the Champlain Highway will be connecting to 189 in a few months, and so that certainly will be changing some of the traffic patterns there. And Thomas was alluding to one of the changes for that highway was having Pine Street no longer connect to Queen City Park Road, which is why we no longer have a bus that goes close by Red Rocks Park. Kim, anything else?
Can the Pine Street go down the Champlain Parkway, the interstate, when they open up?
So the number 5 does go down the Champlain Parkway now, and will continue to do so. What is in question is whether it returns to Pine Street through Flynn Ave, or the change that we've proposed to go back to Pine Street on Lakeside. But we won't be using the new portion of the Champlain Parkway when it opens, at least we're not initially having any plans.
Alright.
Okay, and so I see an iPhone with a hand raised.
Hi, my name's Patty. I take the bus from Waterbury up to UVM Medical Center every day. And it's a great resource. I've been taking it for about 6 years. And granted, the buses were a lot quieter before they made the cuts a couple years ago. But now the buses, I feel bad. Sometimes the people get on at Richmond and there's maybe one seat left, if not anywhere. And my question is that it's an incredible deal. I'm now paying $1 each way instead of $2 because I'm over 60. And I would be completely happy to pay more money if it meant that we didn't, and other people I know too, if it meant we didn't need to make cuts. It's an incredible deal spending $1 to go to Burlington, and be happy to pay more.
Thank you so much for your feedback on that, Patty. And I know that one of the things that when we returned to fairs, we had seen that our ridership on the link services was much lower than it had previously been. And we had been concerned that if it had would go much lower than it already was, that we would have to stop the service. And so that's why it's such a economically advantageous for riders, because we really need to make sure that we keep that ridership as high as possible. One of the things that GMT's urban service, we generate about $2 million a year in fare revenue between fares and our unlimited access plans. So about 10% of the funds that go towards our service comes from fare revenue, and the rest come from state, local, and federal taxes. And thank you, Patty. Anything else that you would like us to consider about the 86 or other service?
I'm just wondering if there's any way to send out a survey on the cost of taking the bus, because I completely realize that there's some people that can't afford to pay more or to pay anything, but there's also a significant amount of people on the bus that are going up to the medical center and UVM every day. And I mean, if I was to drive my car, it would probably cost $9, $10 a day right now. $1 is, I think even paying $2 or $3 would be completely fine with the majority of the people, but I think it's something to consider.
Absolutely. We are definitely going to be looking at our fare structure this year to see if it makes sense, and especially in light of our financial challenges.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of like piggyback off of that, if that's okay. Like, I feel like, finding out exactly like when schedules are for the health center, because I literally had to stop taking the bus because it would not work with my schedule. I would have loved to continue taking the bus. So like, that is one reason why I couldn't take the bus, and now I'm glad I can. So if the services were at like more like in the, like if some people work till 5 and some people work till 5:30, making it at 5:15. If some people work at 6:30 and some people work at 6:45, making it get there at 6:40. Like, so more people can take the bus.
Mhm.
And also I think it's quite I don't know how the budgeting works, but I think it's quite unfair to get rid of a bus that is like the only bus for people down in Duxbury and have 20 different runs for people in Burlington,
Mhm.
when like they are in way more closer proximity to other things, other options, Ubers, other things that are granted more expensive, but also they could wait 15 more minutes for a bus rather than cutting a bus fare to Waterbury that's our only option.
Mhm.
You shouldn't be cutting a bus route that's our only option, when you could remove stops, which it would stink for those people, but I think would be more fair to keep our bus, the one bus we have, and get rid of one other bus in a sea of other buses they have in the more urban areas.
Okay. And so just to be clear, we're not looking at reducing the 86. And so
Well, you just said how like
Sure.
in the
Oh.
past you guys were
Oh, yeah.
thinking of it, so I'd like to just put it on like a record that would be
Yep.
extremely detrimental to the community, especially the rural community.
I just want to elaborate that it was 11 runs because it was 4 trips per peak, 2 that went down to 1 during each peak that went to Waterbury and Burlington only, and the midday trip. The big trip. And now it's just 3 during peak and 1 midday.
Mhm.
So they would not change the set. It would still be the same amount of runs. This is all out of here.
Mhm.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And anyone else, either in the room or online, who have any comments that they would like to share? Oh, Annie.
I know I already spoke, but I want you to know the raise your hand feature my Zoom version doesn't seem to have that. So there are probably other people who aren't currently on camera who may not be able to raise their hands. Not sure. Hope you'll all speak. But I wanted to say to the woman whose name is not on, but it says iPhone, who spoke a moment ago about fee structure. It does seem like we have kind of a split of people with professional jobs that they're trying to get to their jobs, and they may be able to pay more. And I hope you will take that into account, because I agree the services are phenomenal and it is such a steal. And it would cost me $8 per day to drive to and from work. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to have this. And I'm so glad, thank you for confirming you're not cutting services on the 86. That was really good to hear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep it up and give us more. And to the woman in Duxbury, yes, like, don't take anything away, give us more, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Annie. And so, absolutely, if there's, Miriam.
Hi,
Please
sorry,
go.
I just kind of wanted to make a comment to that as well, if I could. I've been taking the 86 all the way from Burlington to the Montpelier Transit Center 1 to 4 days a week since January 2024, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. I have not had a car that entire time, and I've been able to commute to jobs and internships through this bus. And I just was curious because I used a student ID for part of that time to pay for the bus, and I just wanted to confirm, because I don't want the bus to be cut. I want to confirm that, like, I'm by paying with my student ID, I'm not disadvantaging a system that I rely on so heavily.
Well, Miriam, thank you so much for asking that. And so we have agreements with the University of Vermont and Champlain College that allows their employees and students to use our service without a charge. But the colleges are paying for that charge. And so I'm happy to report that when you use your student ID for transportation, it is helpful to us. One of the other ways that it's helpful is that I had mentioned that we receive about $2 million a year in fare revenue. We also get about $2 million a year in federal performance awards. And those awards are provided basically based on our high usage. And so we have the benefit of, when you use your card, that we're getting both the fare revenue from the school, and your ride is counting towards our performance measures. So it's very, so you using the service is very helpful for us.
Okay, thank you.
And any other comments, concerns about potential changes to the 86, the number 4 and the 5? Kim?
Does the Essex Center go by the Essex Elementary School by any chance?
Close to there, it's, you have to walk a little bit on Route 128, but it's like, right now, it's like the closest step is like at the intersection or that little park and ride that's by there. How
How far a walk is it?
It's like a few minutes, it's like not very long, like a couple minutes, but there's a long, but some of it has some of the way is no sidewalks, that's the issue.
Oh, there's no sidewalks?
Sidewalks, I think on VT 128 there isn't, but 15 there definitely is.
How long a walk is it, Thomas?
Not very long, like a few minutes, a few minutes on the intersection of 15 128, 15 at 128, and then you just have to walk thing straight a little bit and then hit the left, not very far.
Is that like a quarter mile?
Yeah.
I tried to find that school and I never can't find it.
There are sidewalks on Browns River Road from that intersection of
A
Thomas.
little bit.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for us to consider?
Well, since a lot of people are talking about the 86, I might as well go to that one first. Because I follow these things. Because unlike somebody, I'm an occasional rider on the Montpelier Lane Inns. When I find out, and this is how I found out that Tri-Valley would be taken over, so this is their website. So this is their website. Once it loads, went down, okay? Okay, it's a little lot on the screen. Suddenly, bam, here's this Washington County column that they have. I think it was like 2025, they put this up. They put this up on their website, the Washington County route. I think, oh goodness. So it made me place a couple. It came down to 3 scenarios in my head when I saw this. Of course, I didn't know it was official at the time, but now it is. I realize it is. Three scenarios came to my mind when noticing that we're gonna transfer Tri-Valley to Washington County. Is it either Tri-Valley would take over the link entirely, similar to Millbury? That it would still be split with the two agencies, similar to what they used, the 116 community used to do, or Burlington would do it all. And the third one is gonna be, turns out the third scenario is gonna be true, and I just wanna Aaron, this is something that I've been kind of thinking about with the seven trips, because you would have to drastically change the times. Just to make it work, so this is kind of a table, and say a scenario of if one stayed the same, of all trips from one side stay the same. And stay the same, so currently, the Burlington departures are 25, 7 o'clock, 7:50, 1:20, but day, 4:45, 45, 5:40. Only 3 of those from those Montpelier departures, are saying 7:35, 10, 6 o'clock, and the other times I'm just saying are approximate, they may not be true, this is just kind of an approximate. 8:05, 8:55, 2:30, 6:50, 50, and that might be the first, which drastically shift, that may be too late for some, that will probably be too late for some people, although I'm not complaining about but although I would not be complaining about the last one being also 7 o'clock, that's longer, just saying. Or say if the Montpelier departures stay the same, which are currently at 5:50, 6:40, 7:30, 12 o'clock, 4:25, 10, 6. Only the last 2 of the afternoon would stay the same, and the other, every other would drastically shift earlier in the morning. Change 4:45, 6:25, the midday would be right, I would say right before 11 AM and one at 3, and I know you were talking about keeping a 5 p.m., keeping a trip after 5 o'clock, right? The o'clock, I'm with you on that one. I think there should definitely be one after 5 o'clock.
If you want riders on this bus, you need to go, it needs to work with UVM Center schedules. Like, that's the majority of riders, I feel.
So this kind of.
This confuses me, I don't know what I'm looking at.
So what you're looking at is that, those that don't understand, the times in bolds are the current departure times from both Burlington and Montpelier, and the non-bold, the times are like approximate times of the other departures. The other departures, say the 5:50 AM stayed, and that means it would be a bus very early, 5:45 in the morning from Burlington. I'm pretty sure that passengers may not like a very, very early morning departure to Montpelier. Because
I was just gonna
be the Franklin County link.
I was just gonna add to the point about working with the hospital. We have been working with the hospital. They provided us a lot of information around where folks are commuting from, what the shift times are. And this is kind of our first opportunity with our Burlington office sort of operating all the trips to sort of make those changes at once. Again, recognizing with the constraints that we still only have so much money to operate the particular routes, but we are very much working with the hospital on those times that you mentioned.
Absolutely. And Thomas, thank you very much.
And
for the
also,
proposed schedule.
I also want to elaborate on Essex, because I'm in Essex Junction, I'm not very far from the Amtrak, but I have already been kind of hurt by the resource reductions around Essex because they got rid of the 10, which means I'm no longer able to get to Williston from Essex Junction on my own unless I bike, but but between the months of November and March, that's not an option because it's winter. But I think I have sort of a solution that might work. To kind of make Esther's happy, especially those at Essex Central to Wilson, and a solution, and maybe not happen right away, but they're thinking that maybe now Christopher, you talked years ago about, there was like a document about possibly micro transit to Williston. But also I think that could be implemented, but even expanded out. Expand it out to Essex. So for those that are when it's just loads here, so this is on my screen. So this is an app called Footpath. In case you don't know what the app means, it's a It's an app you can draw your mall maps out directions. It's pretty cool. But it's very cool. So this is basically the Essex Center and the former Route 10 together. I think that Michael Transit could service this to all these areas and more, including some of the former Williston Village. And I want to highlight on that one real quick because you're probably not so familiar with that one. Yourself, because up until 2019, they were serviced to this area over here, out here, close to all these areas. I think that if microtransit was it could go even further than that. That to also be serving the airport, seeing that the city now city doesn't serve it anymore. Could also expand out to places around the airport parkway, Lime Kiln area. The area to St. Michael's College connector number 2, because you see this, if you see this yellow right here, that indicates an uphill. That is a very cumbersome uphill for some to walk up here, especially those that live in the northern Mondarian, which by the way is a senior housing. So that is my share on possibly a possible replacement for the Essex Center and Williston Essex, as well as some of the former Williston Village to even doesn't have a right of way, something that, but it require a lot, but I realize that this require quite a bit of infrastructure. So you would either have to take some of the vehicles from SSTA or buy some small cutaway buses to be able to make that happen.
Thomas, can you make sure to email me since you already have my email with those? And so even if it's not in the short term, I'll have it for long-term planning for.
And so that would be a great idea. And first, Pine Street. I was saying yesterday, and this those, so I just want to elaborate for those on Zoom. It's on Zoom. It's like it makes the question like, okay, how would I see this is why there wasn't really many people on yesterday's meeting, and then just made me think that, oh, then how are we gonna make people aware of the stop changes on Pine Street, moving the inbound stops from Champlain Elementary around Newark Chittenden and all those areas to Champlain Parkway. Would they stop it? Would they like put a piece of paper on the stop, say, hey, starting this day, this is where you want to get off. This is where you want to board the inbound Pine Street. Pine Street, this is where you can get. Maybe put a map on it to see where to put it right here. So put it right here, just especially because Clayton, you mentioned that 189 is gonna be expanded in a few months. So we're gonna be expecting probably a lot more traffic on that. Car traffic, especially on Champlain Parkway, once that extension is complete, so we just need to thinking about how to bring awareness to the passengers, like the option, go to Champlain Parkway to walk, or they just take the outbound and go all the way around. That's a good question. So that is a good question.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Do we have answers to Thomas's question?
Yes, I mean. Yeah, I mean, Thomas, as we discussed yesterday, I think, we're definitely gonna put out messaging once the board approves or, whatever the board decides on the service changes. And I would just say, just sort of in summation, I think one of the things is the board will be making their decision next Tuesday at their board meeting first. And we'll be putting out, information around what those changes are once they make their decision. We do still have the survey open if folks haven't taken the survey online. That's available at ridegmt.com/about/meetings. And the survey links are there for the 3 different routes that we've discussed. Yeah.
And Thomas, thank you for bringing up about the Tri-Valley Transit change, because for Elizabeth and Duxbury, TVT will be your local provider starting in July, if you use any of the other local services. Is there any other comments or questions from the group?
It's the year Duxbury, so then I looked up where Duxbury is, like, okay, I had to remind myself, like, oh, it's.
Yeah, it's right out of
Waterbury.
Waterbury.
Oh, it's close to Waterbury, so you like, so your stuff is like at the state complex, the park and ride around there?
The
just-
Waterbury Park ride.
Oh, and you kind of take your car to and from Duxbury.
Yeah,
okay,
which is
but-
fine, which is fine. I mean, compared to how far away we are with everything, that park and ride is right down the road, basically. So that's no complaints there.
Well, I thank everybody for coming and providing your input. We're gonna do our best to maximize our limited resources to meet as many people's needs as possible. And as always with our public meetings, there's a lot of things that come up that different perspectives that I hadn't considered before. So thank you for helping educate me on how to best use our service. So,
How, like, as people, just as community members, can we like help fight for more resources for something like Green Mountain Transit?
So I can tell you probably the two best ways is to work with your local legislators.
Like, yeah,
Because the
I've
state,
already emailed some like senators about this, like, can we please like put our tax money
Yeah.
to things that help us all,
Yeah.
please?
and so really the local municipality contributions. And so one of the things that we'll need to be looking at as we change our services, how Montpelier and Waterbury contributes to the link.
Mhm.
And so encouraging the local elected officials, whether at the state or municipality, to support GMT is really one of the best ways.
Yeah.
We do get about 2/3 of our funding from federal funds.
Yeah,
And so that does make us very dependent upon federal changes.
yeah,
We know that the current public transit funding bill that has been in place for the last 5 years will expire in September. And so we're not sure what the next federal bill could be. But really, our ability to offer service is pretty much dependent upon what that federal bill is gonna be.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how.
I wish I could say I'm optimistic,
Yeah.
but. Hey, good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we'll continue to do our best.